On a bitterly cold winter night, when even the stars seemed dim behind heavy clouds, an old dog lay quietly on a creaky examination table at a small veterinary clinic. His fur was matted and thin, and his eyes, though tired and dull, still held a deep, unspoken story. Tonight, everything seemed to point to a final goodbye. For many years, Mrs. Evelyn Lawson, a kind, soft-spoken woman with gentle eyes, had cared for this dog with all her heart. She often said that his quiet presence was like a warm memory on the coldest of nights. But at this moment, as Dr. Marcus Reed prepared for what he thought would be an end, something unexpected happened. As he leaned over to check on the dog for one last time, the soft, almost lost word slipped from his lips. "Check his left ear." That simple statement would change everything and unlock secrets that had long been hidden. Before we dive deeper into this journey, please consider subscribing and pressing the notification bell so you never miss a story that celebrates love, loyalty, and second chances. Let us know in the comments if you've ever experienced a moment of unexpected kindness with a pet. Evelyn had been by the dog's side for years. Every morning, she shared gentle words and tender caresses with him, even when he could barely lift his head. The clinic was small and quiet, with the steady hum of an old heater and the occasional beep of a medical machine. In that quiet space, it felt like time itself had slowed, concentrating every drop of emotion into that moment. For Evelyn, the decision to let her beloved companion go had been the hardest choice of her long life. The dog had been with her through lonely nights and hard days. Many believed his journey was at an end, as his body slowly failed him. But on that particular night, Dr. Reed's careful observation gave new hope. Tucked beneath the faded fur near his left ear was a tiny, barely noticeable metal tag, a tag that nobody had noticed before. Dr. Reed's voice was soft, almost a whisper as he told Evelyn, "I'm not ready to say goodbye just yet. Look here." For Evelyn, whose heart had long prepared for sorrow, those words sparked a light of uncertainty and hope. In that hushed moment, the discovery of the tag seemed to hint at a life that was far richer and more tangled with history than anyone had known. Evelyn's hands trembled slightly as she reached out, her eyes searching the small piece of metal. The tag read, in delicate letters, Maxwell R. Blackwell, 1953. That number and name, though nearly forgotten by time, immediately conjured images of a grand past. A past filled with busy parties, gentle smiles, and a legacy of kindness. She had heard whispers about the Blackwell name, a family known for their generosity and influence. Suddenly, the little dog in her arms was no ordinary pet. He was a living piece of someone's history. And maybe, just maybe, his story was not over yet. This evening, in the stillness of a small clinic, destiny began to whisper the secrets of a past that neither Evelyn nor Dr. Reed could have ever imagined. As the winter wind tapped quietly at the window, the discovery made it clear that the life of this old dog was about to take an unexpected turn, a turn that would weave together memories of a long-forgotten legacy and the gentle care of a humble heart. In the soft glow of that quiet moment, the mystery grew. Dr. Reed, with steady hands and a calm demeanor, carefully detached the tag from where it had been hidden under the dog's ear. The tag bore the inscription Maxwell R. Blackwell, and a date, 1953, which hinted at an era when life was different, more elegant, and yet perhaps just as fragile. Everyone in town believed that the little dog had been with Evelyn for as long as anyone could remember. But now, as they looked at this tiny piece of metal, it became clear that his past was much deeper than anyone suspected. He had once belonged to someone far from their small, everyday world, a world filled with grand houses, important people, and stories that echoed through the halls of time. Dr. Reed dialed a number on his old telephone, the number of someone who was rumored to know the secrets of the Blackwell family. On the other end, a dignified voice answered. "This is Baron Edwin Blackwell," the voice said, pausing as if recalling a long-lost memory. The Baron, it turned out, had been a symbol of strength and kindness, a man who had once commanded respect and admiration in high society. His family had built a legacy of generosity and art, a legacy that had almost faded away with time. Evelyn listened as the conversation unfolded. The Baron's voice spoke of a beloved pet that had once been by his side during moments of both joy and sorrow. According to the conversation, Maxwell, the dog, had been more than a pet. He was a loyal companion during turbulent times, a silent witness to history, who had even accompanied the Baron to important events and quiet personal moments alike. The phone call confirmed what neither Evelyn nor Dr. Reed could have dared to hope. Maxwell had once belonged to the Blackwell family, the name of immense respect and affection. But somewhere along the way, through life's unpredictable twists and turns, this loyal dog had been separated from his true family. Instead, he had found his way into Evelyn's care, as if destiny had conspired to give him a second chance when everyone else had written him off as lost. Evelyn's heart pounded with a mixture of excitement and sorrow. She had long cared for Maxwell as if he were her own child, never imagining that he carried with him a secret world, a secret that was about to resurface. The doctor gently placed the tag in Evelyn's hand and said, "This is not just a sign of his past, it is a promise of his future." His words, simple yet so full of meaning, filled the small room with a newfound hope. The revelation made everything else in the room shift. That little piece of metal, nearly lost under the dog's ear, now shone as a beacon of possibility. Maxwell was not nearing his final hours simply because of age or failing health. He was, in fact, carrying the legacy of one of the most influential families of his time. And while Evelyn had cared for him with all the love she could give, this discovery would soon reconnect him with a grander destiny, one that spanned generations and reached into the heart of the... As the conversation with the Blackwell family ended and the first hints of dawn began to filter through the windows, Evelyn's mind raced with questions. How did Maxwell come to be with her all those years ago? Who were the people that once called him their own? And could it be possible that by reuniting him with his true family, they might all find healing from old wounds? The morning that followed was filled with a mix of excitement and bittersweet reflection. Evelyn prepared a small cup of tea in her cozy kitchen, the kind of kitchen that smelled of old wood and memories. As she sat at the table, Maxwell lay curled up at her feet, his breathing shallow but steady. The weight of the discovery pressed gently on her heart like the warmth of that familiar tea. Today, she would learn more about the man behind the name on the tag, and in doing so, she would uncover secrets of a past that bridged opulence and humble devotion. Dr. Reed returned later that morning, carrying with him the results of his phone call and a stack of old documents that spoke of the Blackwell legacy. "Mrs. Lawson," he said in a calm, sincere tone, "I've confirmed that Maxwell is indeed Maxwell Reginald Blackwell, once the cherished companion of the late Baron Edwin Blackwell." He placed a weathered yet dignified folder on the table, allowing Evelyn a glimpse into a world she had never known. Through the yellowed pages of a family album, Evelyn and Dr. Reed discovered pictures of a young, vibrant Maxwell running through the manicured lawns of a sprawling estate. In these images, the dog's eyes shone with life, and he frolicked beside a dignified man wearing a crisp suit, the very man who must have been the Baron. In another faded photo, Maxwell rested his head on the lap of a young lady with graceful features, her eyes full of affection. Every photo told a story of joy, loyalty, and a time when life carried the promise of tomorrow. The Blackwell family, once known for their grand charitable endeavors and the numerous awards they received for their kindness, had slowly receded from the public eye after the passing of Baron Edwin. Their stories had become the stuff of legend, spoken about in hushed tones at exclusive gatherings. Now, Maxwell's return was like opening a long-forgotten letter, one that revealed an unintentional act of loyalty, a stray dog finding refuge in the arms of someone who needed him dearly. Evelyn listened as Dr. Reed recounted these memories in plain, heartfelt language. It seems that many years ago, in the chaos following a difficult period for the Blackwell family, Maxwell was lost in the shuffle. He might have been given up or perhaps escaped in search of a new life. Somehow he ended up with you, a twist of fate that no one could have predicted. Evelyn's eyes glistened as she recalled the gentle pats and kind words she had offered Maxwell over the years. "I always felt he had more to him than meets the eye," she whispered. "I just never knew how deep his story ran." By mid-morning, as the sunlight filled the small home with a forgiving warmth, Evelyn resolved to help make things right. Dr. Reed suggested that the next step was to formally contact the remaining members of the Blackwell family and arrange a meeting. Not only would this reunite Maxwell with his true lineage, but it might also mend old wounds that had long since left scars on the hearts of those who once relied on him for comfort during troubled times. Evelyn agreed, though her hands continued to shake, part excitement, part fear of what this reunion might bring. Together, they decided to draft a heartfelt letter that detailed Maxwell's journey, his time with her, and the miraculous way in which fate had preserved his life even when everyone believed he was destined to be forgotten. That morning, as Evelyn finished writing and sealing her letter, she gazed at Maxwell, whose soft eyes seemed to say, "I know who I am." And in that simple look lay the power to transform despair into hope, the power to reconnect a legacy that had been scattered to the winds. Her thoughts then turned to the future. She wondered what it would feel like to see Maxwell reunited with a family that had once held him dear, a family now waiting in quiet anticipation for the return of a lost piece of their history. For both the dog and his original family, this reunion promised a healing of old hurts and the filling of empty spaces in hearts that had long ached in silence. Days passed slowly as arrangements were made. Soon word spread that the Blackwell family would be coming to meet Evelyn and Maxwell. The news, though whispered quietly at first, quickly became the talk of the town. Neighbors and local news outlets picked up the story, intrigued by the idea that a humble dog with humble beginnings might actually be the long-lost pet of a very famous family. On a crisp autumn afternoon, the day of the reunion finally arrived. The air was cool and filled with the vibrant hues of falling leaves. As Evelyn waited outside her modest home, she clutched Maxwell close, her eyes searching the horizon for signs of what was to come. Moments later, a sleek black limousine pulled up along the street. Out stepped a young woman with a dignified bearing and eyes that reflected both sadness and hope. "I'm Victoria Blackwell," she introduced herself softly. "I'm the granddaughter of Baron Edwin Blackwell. I've come to see Maxwell." Her voice was gentle, and behind her, a few more family members joined, each one carrying an air of solemn expectation. When Victoria approached, Evelyn felt a surge of emotion that she had not experienced in years. There was a pause, a moment where time seemed to slow to a crawl, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Then, with a mix of caution and warmth, Victoria knelt down beside Evelyn and Maxwell. "I've heard so much about you," Victoria said, her voice trembling slightly as she looked into Maxwell's eyes. "I always believed our grandfather's dog would return to us one day." Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes as she replied, "He came to me when I needed him. I never imagined that he belonged to someone like you, a family who once held him so dearly." The two women embraced, their differing lives merging in that single, bittersweet moment. In the hours that followed, the family learned about the years Maxwell had spent with Evelyn, the daily walks, the quiet nights filled with tender care, and the many little moments of love that had passed between the two. Victoria listened intently, and with each word, her heart grew lighter even as it ached with the weight of lost time. "We never thought he would find his way back," Victoria confessed. "Our family's history has always been filled with stories of hope and miracles, and today I see that miracle with my own eyes." The family, once shrouded in a world of modern success and distant memories, found themselves transformed by the simple, undeniable power of genuine care. They marveled not only at Maxwell's resilience but also at Evelyn's unwavering devotion. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the rolling hills and painted the sky in soft hues of pink and orange, the Blackwell family invited Evelyn and Maxwell to join them at their sprawling estate, a place that, until then, had been little more than a symbol of old money and quiet prestige. But now it became a home of healing and warmth. At the estate, amidst tasteful decor and hints of a grand history, a small ceremony was held. The family presented a portrait of their late grandfather alongside old memorabilia that recalled happier times. Victoria spoke softly to the gathered crowd. "Maxwell is not just our past. He is our future, a reminder that love transcends time and social standing." Her words, simple and sincere, touched everyone in the room, as discussions of old grievances and quiet hopes melded into a shared sense of renewal. Evelyn felt a sense of peace that she had never known before. In that warm embrace of the Blackwell family, she realized that her own lonely journey had now become a bridge connecting the humble present with a glorious past. The reunion was more than just the return of a lost pet. It was a merging of hearts, a reconciling of history with the promise of tomorrow. Over the following days, as Maxwell was gently moved to a private veterinary facility specially equipped to care for him, the family worked together to ensure that his recovery was as comfortable as possible. They arranged for the best care available, and the new environment, a blend of modern technology and heartfelt compassion, became a place where the past and present coexisted harmoniously. Victoria promised to document Maxwell's recovery, ensuring that his story, now reborn, would be shared with the world. Evelyn, while still a part of Maxwell's life, understood that their paths might soon diverge. But she also knew that the love she had poured into his care would live on in every heartbeat he displayed, and in the legacy that was being restored. As winter slowly surrendered to spring, and the cold gave way to the gentle warmth of renewal, Maxwell began to show signs of recovery. Each day brought with it new energy, a small wag of his tail, a glimpse of a spark in his eyes that had long been dim. At the private clinic, specialized treatments and round-the-clock care helped him rediscover life's simple pleasures. Slowly, his once feeble steps became more confident, and his muted barks softened into the sound of a soul finding its strength again. For Evelyn, this transformation was both a relief and a gentle reminder of the fragile beauty of every living moment. Although she had once feared that the end was near, Maxwell's unexpected revival spurred a deep sense of gratitude and hope, a feeling that even in the darkest hours, there is room for light. Recognizing that this renewed life was not simply a miracle for Maxwell, but also a message of hope for everyone touched by his story, the Blackwell family decided to show their gratitude in a very special way. In a quiet but dignified ceremony held at the Blackwell estate, they publicly honored Dr. Reed for his unwavering compassion. With warm smiles and heartfelt speeches, they presented him with a generous donation to support his clinic, a symbol of thanks that echoed far beyond monetary value. Dr. Reed's eyes shone with humility as he accepted the recognition, knowing that his insistence, however small it may have seemed at the time, had sparked a chain of events that would alter many lives for the better. In the aftermath of these life-changing events, Maxwell found himself in a world that was no longer defined by loss and loneliness. The sprawling estate became his new home, a place where he could rest, recover, and enjoy the final chapters of his long, eventful life. For the Blackwell family, the reunion with Maxwell was not just an emotional catharsis but also a reaffirmation of what true legacy means. Not wealth, not fame, but the quiet, enduring love that we share with those who stand by us through the storms of life. Evelyn, who had given Maxwell the care and compassion he needed during his darkest times, left with a heart full of gratitude and acceptance. Though her days with Maxwell might be fewer now, the memories they had created together would last a lifetime. She returned to her modest life enriched by the knowledge that every soul, no matter how seemingly small, carries within it the potential for greatness and the power to heal. And so, as the gentle rhythms of spring embraced the world once more, Maxwell's story came full circle, from a quiet, fading presence on an examination table to the vibrant symbol of a reunited legacy. His life, marked by suffering and care, loss and love, had now blossomed into a testament of second chances. In every kind word shared, every quiet act of compassion, and every tear shed in reconciliation, Maxwell's journey reminded us all that love, above all else, can bridge divides and bring us home. This is more than the story of a single dog. It is a gentle reminder to each of us that every moment of kindness has the power to change the course of our lives. Even when all hope seems lost, a simple act of attention, a careful word, a soft touch, a whispered "don't give up," can awaken a legacy waiting to be reborn. As you listen to this story, let it serve as a reminder that every life holds deep secrets and untold promise. In every quiet corner of our world, miracles are waiting to emerge from the smallest acts of love. For Maxwell, for Evelyn, and for all of us, the journey is never truly over. It transforms, evolves, and carries on in the gentle hearts that believe in second chances. May you always find a spark of hope even in the coldest nights, and may every ending lead to a new beginning. If this story touches your heart, Take a moment to hit like and subscribe for more true, unforgettable stories. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Share a memory of a special pet or a moment that gave you hope.